nerds, what's up? So I wasn't really actually planning on doing a lore video for episodes 7 and 8, but then you guys voted and told me you wanted me to do it. I'm kind of convinced that's 100% because Celeborn shows up in episode 7 and you guys feel like you need me to talk about that, so let me know if that's true. Either way, we're gonna kind of do speed round today and get through the lore pretty quickly. I'm gonna try not to say my opinions about it and save that all for my video when I talk about the Rings of Power as a whole. So let's get into it. Episode 7. The elves were never trying to cheat death. They just gotta live for ages. Mithril doesn't heal. Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna editorialize, but like, why are we having burning buildings falling on canonically alive people? The queen doesn't go blind, but I think at this point it's kind of obvious that a lot of these little details are going to be made up because they're not even said in the book, even if we wanted them to be. Okay, Celeborn, you guys, I can't. Like, again, we're having canonically alive people pretending that they're dead. Okay, I know I said I wasn't going to editorialize. This is about lore. Okay, I said before, Galadriel and Celeborn were already married at this point, and they were together. Like, this never happened. At least it wasn't described in the books. But okay, one more thing. I just gotta say, like, wouldn't it have just been better if they just hadn't mentioned him at all at this point? Like, I think this is actually worse than our ignoral of Celeborn. Like, don't you think when they were sending her to the west, they would have mentioned him? Like, oh yeah, your husband, who might still be here, or maybe, like, died and went to the west. Like, wouldn't they have mentioned him? It makes this feel like a last minute addition. I don't know who these 3 people are, and I can't think of anything that they reasonably are canonically, so right now I assume that they're not. I forget if it's in the Silmarillion or LOTR proper, but they do talk a lot about how the elves dug too greedily and too deep, and that is why they awoke the Balrog. Of course, in this show, it's a leaf. Okay, moving on to episode 8. These white-robed cult people seem super overpowered, which also influences me to believe that they're not canonical. Finally, here's what everyone was waiting for in my comments. You guys kept talking about how you wanted Galadriel to say that she wasn't worthy to go to the west because that's the canonical thing. I actually recognized that the stranger must be a bait and switch right here, since we have Halbrand influencing the forging of the rings, which was canonically Sauron's role. Ironically, for the way they did this storyline, in the book it specifically calls out how a lot of elves trusted and loved the shapeshifted Sauron, but specifically Elrond, Gil-galad, and Galadriel were suspicious of him, which is obviously very different than portrayed in the show, since Halbrand and Galadriel were like BFFs. Plus the downfall of Numenor, Sauron had a huge influence in that, and we just really don't see Halbrand there at all while this is happening. It's definitely seemed more towards other influences. Also, the fall of Numenor, I'm pretty sure, happened after the creation of the rings, and so they're just like really squishing and compressing that timeline together. Also, the elves could immediately sense the One Ring when they put on their rings, and so they took them off immediately and hid them. Like, they didn't want to be involved with that evil. They could sense the evil. And so, I mean, I guess they haven't put them on yet, so I guess we can see what happens next season, but it definitely feels like they were a lot more eager here. Like, they're just liking the power of the rings, which wasn't necessarily the case. I don't know, there's a lot to explain here. It's just very different. The way these rings are created are very different in lore. You could look up the wiki page if you were really interested in like specific details. Elrond was respected. I keep saying that. He was respected. I think they are saying rune here, and yeah, not much is known, but the people there did unite under Sauron, so yeah. I don't think I have to say it again, like Galadriel wasn't friends with shapeshifted Sauron. Now, Sauron is very deceptive. That's like his main trait, particularly in the Silmarillion. He deceives everybody, but I don't think he could really do this like vision or dream magic. No, he and his brother were raised by a son of Fëanor, and again, Elrond was given a choice with his brother to choose elves or humans, and he was very respected, and that choice was respected. Overall, I would just say Galadriel has way too much influence on the rings in the show. Like, I don't think that's how it was in the lore. Okay, so I have a lot of feelings about these 2 episodes, but I am saving them for my overall thoughts video so I can make them a little bit more cohesive. But I think we can all tell, if you've been following along, that you've watched my slow descent into madness over 8 episodes. Like, I really started so hopeful, and every episode is just gone to the point where we culminated in 7 and 8, which I think were probably 2 of the worst episodes of the season, in my personal opinion, but we can talk about that next week. Please let me know what you thought about the lore changes, obviously, especially Celeborn. Do you think, like me, it would have just been better at this point to ignore him and that bringing him in is almost somehow worse? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe and share. If you have anybody that you think would enjoy my videos, it is very helpful when they're shared organically. And if you want to see what I'm currently reading, as well as rants in the moment, like last night, I filmed a reaction to episode 8 right after it aired, you can follow me on Instagram at bookborn.reviews. I'll see you next time. Bye.